Excellent. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Sure Skills and Nemstar webinar today on the 27th of November. Apologies about the date and being incorrect. Not very good when your first slide's got a typo in it. This is actually a repeat of a live session we did in Belfast on the 11th of November. We hope to take you through in the next 45 to 50 minutes some of the slides and topics we shared with a room full of people during the session. And this little webinar is because of customer request. It was a highly successful little conference we ran in Belfast, and this is the essence of it on the internet. So a little bit of introductions to start with. My name is Sean Hanna. I'm a director of Nemstar.com. We're a specialist information security and cyber training business. We've been established over 10 years and we're based here in the local Belfast area, but we serve customers throughout the world. We have customers in Canada, USA, in Japan, in Bulgaria, Sofia, in Sweden and the Netherlands countries. And recently we've joined PAR, we've partnered with Sure Skills to bring our global security offering to the local Belfast market. This little session is a story. It's a story about Dave. All of us have a Dave working for us. Dave are the people who use our IT systems. Daves are the people who man reception, who are in your HR department, who are in your finance team, who work for software development. There are Daves sitting on your board today. There are Daves in every company in every country in the world. This is the story of Dave. Dave in one corner, in the other corner, we have information security. We've got firewalls, IDSs, SIEMs, IPSs, heuristic scanners. Who's your money on? And you see, this is the whole point about social engineering. We've spent a fortune on the hardware and the software that secures our network. How much have you spent on the wetware? The big bag of water that sits at the end of the keyboard. How much money have you spent on Dave? What percentage of your information security risk do you think Dave represents? You know, when we're at a conference or a seminar delivering this live, we get people to vote. You know, is it 10% or higher? Everybody shouts higher. 20% or higher? Everybody shouts higher. 30% or higher? Everybody shouts higher. 40, 50? When you get to 50, 60%, some people don't shout, but some people do shout. Dave is at least 50, 60% of the risk to your information systems. That's why you spend 50 or 60% of your cyber budget addressing the problem, don't you? Do you? 40%? 30%? 20%? 10%? Do you even spend 1% of your information security budget fixing the problem that most people will admit is 50% of the issue? And you see, this is social engineering, tricking the human being. It's trying to make sure that we have controls for hardware, we have controls for software, and we have controls for wetware. Dave always wins. It doesn't matter how much hardware and software you have. If you ignore your wetware, Dave defeats it. All it takes is one Dave to defeat it. RSA. I'm delivering a CISSP course in Belfast this week, and we were just talking about RSA, Rajiv Sanderman and Alderman, the crypto company. RSA lost the root key, the root password, if you like, for 44 million people's accounts because one Dave opened one email. The email was titled Senior Management Only Confidential, Staff Redundancies 2008. That email contained a virus. The virus system had marked it dangerous. The virus system had put it in the spam folder. The email gateway marked it in large red letters, danger coming from outside the company. Every single control worked. But one Dave opened one email and compromised 44 million people's information security in a single go. All it takes is one Dave. The trend that we've been going for the last 15 or 20 years is vendors and manufacturers are wringing every penny out of us. Every year we spend more money on boxes with blue LED flashing lights, yet the problem still gets worse every single year. 2017, 40% of UK businesses, this is United Kingdom businesses, had ransomware attacks. 40% of businesses. That's not a small problem. That's a huge problem. There are Daves working in every single small business. But you say to me, look, we have so many controls. We've been spending lots and lots of money on this. We have good firewalls. We have good antivirus. We have got all these controls to stop Dave doing bad things. But it doesn't matter. TalkTalk had firewalls. TalkTalk had antivirus. TalkTalk had programmers that were never trained and never educated on information security. TalkTalk's web development team put a database with customer information on the same server as the web server and put it in the DMZ. It was lying wide open. It's 101 of information security. You don't put data in dangerous areas. You segregate. So even though TalkTalk had firewalls and antiviruses and IDSs and IPSs, their software team was full of Daves, full of people that had no training, no awareness, and no visibility of the issue. The reason why TalkTalk got hacked? Website design and a lack of proper software QA. The programmers weren't educated and trained. Dave was a member of the dev team in TalkTalk. But we're better than TalkTalk. We have secure coding, secure code design, and we even have strong QA testing. So not only do we have our firewalls, our IDSs, our IPSs, our SIEMs, our heuristics, our software team know what they're doing. They do strong testing and strong software design. We can't get hit. Surely we can't get hit. Experian hack exposes 15 million people's personal information. On the Expedian website, Expedian is a credit reference agency, a CRA, as we call it, a CRA. And as a CRA, it has information on every single one of us. But they hadn't upgraded their network in over 5 years. WAFs are web application filters. They're Layer 7 firewalls. They're smart, intelligent firewalls. They were using old, out-of-date firewalls. IDSs and IPSs, these are Pacific network controls for information security. They're burglar alarms. No IDSs, no IPSs. 15 million people's data gone. There are Daves not only in small businesses, there are Daves in every major company. We've done it all. We've got IDSs, IPSs, we've got firewalls, we've got antivirus, we've got secure architecture, we've got secure coders, we do pen tests and secure QA. We do it all. Equifax did it all. Another credit Spit it out and start again. Another credit rating agency, another CRA. They had security requirements in every tender. All their coders were properly trained and educated. They had comprehensive quality control and misuse cases during software QA. They scanned all code for vulnerability. They had a policy standard guideline driven cyber program. They had mature controls in press that they had practiced and tested IRP and DR. Equifax did it all. Apache Web Struts is part of the Apache Web Platform. We all use other people's software. And even though Equifax internally had done it all, they use other people's software and other people's hardware. Apache had a vulnerability. Windows has vulnerabilities. Office 365, Firefox has vulnerabilities. Chrome, Safari, Linux, Unix, Apple Macs, they all have vulnerabilities. So even if we do our stuff right, we're still reliant on third parties. 44 million, just in the UK, 44 million people's data was exposed. These companies are data collection companies, they're credit reference agencies, they contain data on all of us. You see, there's devs everywhere. There's devs inside your business, there's devs inside my business, there's devs have developed Apache, devs have developed Windows, devs develop all our systems and software. Equifax, 44 million records were stolen in 180 minutes. Once the news got out, share value crashed from $140 a share to $90, and that didn't take 180 minutes. You see, that's real loss of capital value. That's real substantial damage that's been done to the organization. Equifax did it all, but they still got compromised. You see, information security is really quite strange, because information security is about one thing: getting a balance right. And we have to not only do hardware and software, we have to look at wetware. You see, there's a problem. Ask a technical person a question, get a technical answer. And information security is not 100% technical. And if you have technical people only dealing with the issue, you're only gonna get technical answers. It's not a matter of having good technical controls. You need a combination of technical, administrative, and physical control points. You see, social engineering is so easy to do. So easy to do because the internet keeps reinventing itself. Every single week of every single day, there's something new. There's some new piece of technology. There's some new invention, some sort of new web widget. And the problem is that we might teach them about this attack and not to do it, or that attack and not to do it. But every time we fix it, the hackers move the target, the internet goes on. This is not something you can fix in one go. It's something that you need a long-term process and a long-term plan for. Social engineering is the art of human manipulation. It's tricking people. Phishing, ransomware, blackmail, fraud. There's so much of this going on. What I want to do is I want to look at one single example of social engineering, and it's indicative of all the different examples. We're going to look at the drive-by hack. One specific example of social engineering. We're going to look at farming attacks. There's spam, there's phishing, there's farming. Spam is the email you get selling you Viagra. Or is that just me? Is that just me? Shit, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Okay, spam's the email link you get. And if you click the email link, you're taken somewhere to be sold something. Phishing is similar. Phishing is also an email, and it's also a link. But instead of trying to get you to click the link to sell you something, when you click the link, they take you to a fake website. They send you a phishing email to say your HSBC account's overdrawn. You click the link, you don't go to HSBC, you go to a copy or a clone of HSBC. And then when you're at a cloned website, you trust HSBC, you trust your bank. And I'm trying to trick you into trusting my fake website. Don't click the link in spam, we can't sell you anything. Don't click the link in phishing, we can't sell you anything. We can't deliver any payloads, we can't steal your passwords. Farming is different. There's no link to click. We attack one of the weakest parts of the network. We poison DNS. DNS is the domain name system. DNS converts names to IP addresses, as I'm sure you're aware. DNS was designed in the 1980s and is extremely weak. You know what the security on DNS is? The first answer the DNS server gets is correct. All other answers are wrong. Poisoning DNS is giving DNS the wrong answer, so it gives the wrong answer to victims' computers. You see, in a phishing attack, you don't click the link, you're safe. On a farming attack, you're using shared networks. You're using something like a coffee shop. You're in Starbucks. You're in McDonald's. You're in an airport, a hotel, a conference venue. You're on holiday. You're at a hospital. Places you use free Wi-Fi. So here we have a coffee shop. On the left-hand side, we have a number of potential targets. We're all using the same free Wi-Fi, and on the Wi-Fi is a local DNS machine and a hacker. We have a firewall and the big bad internet. The attack starts with an innocent action. One of our victims tries to go to a website like gmail.com. We're going to do a farming attack on Gmail, a popular mail system. But you know and I know that the URL www.gmail.com does not exist. We know that we have to issue a query, resolve. We always ask our local DNS server. If our local DNS server knows the answer, they'll give us the answer. But if they don't know the answer, they do what's called an iterative query, or recursive or iterative query. When we go out to do our iterative query, we go out to the internet to ask for the IP address of gmail.com. But because the hacker's laptop is on the same Wi-Fi network, we can eavesdrop, we can listen in to that conversation. The hacker can listen to the DNS server doing the DNS request for gmail.com. And here comes the farming attack. Because when we hear the server saying, can I have the IP address for gmail.com? We intercept the query and we reply. The internet doesn't reply, we reply. We reply with a poisoned answer. The answer is 192.168.200.10. That's not the IP address of Gmail. It's the IP address of the hacker box. Gmail is actually out on the internet something like 4/8. But that's the attack. Stage 1, poison DNS. That means the DNS server is going to give the wrong IP address to the unsuspecting target machine. So when the target machine tries to connect to Gmail, they don't go to the internet. They end up connecting to the hacker's laptop. And stage 2 of the attack, the hacker's laptop will have a copy of Gmails with various different attacks. Here you go. Here's Gmail. Oh, and by the way, free gift. The free gift, of course, is a payload. And the payload pawns the target. Pawns. Pawns means owned. If you're sitting in front of a keyboard, if you look at your keyboard, the O key and the P keys close together. Somebody once posted on an internet forum, I pawned the server. They should have said I owned the server. And we've all been taking the piss out of them ever since. I pawned the machine means that computer does not belong to you anymore. That is my computer. You see, you can talk about spam, phishing, and farming, and you can tell people not to do it, it's bad. But my behavior doesn't change. You see, what you're trying to do with end user awareness training, what you're trying to do with Dave, is you're trying to re-educate him and you're trying to change Dave's behavior. You can't stand on a pulpit and preach, thou must not do farming, thou must not do phishing, thou must not click spam links. You see, you can preach to people, but preaching to people does not change their behavior. To change the behavior, you have to understand what's going on. I've just done a demo of farming attacks. We explained it to you in detail. Any questions? Now, I don't care how big the audience on our little webinar is or how big the audience in Belfast on the 11th of November was. Everybody always smiles and nods and goes, yeah. I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. But do you really understand it? You see, end user awareness training, the re-education of Dave, you're trying to change his behavior. And behavioral modification is extremely difficult to do. I'm going to do something at high risk. I'm going to try to do a live demo right now with and to start sharing a second screen. Does that make sense? And what we should get, I hope, is this. Okay, so I can't watch what you're seeing at the moment, so I hope you're seeing from me. You can indeed. When I open my other screen, you get that beautiful mirrored effect. That's pretty cool. You get two mirrors, one in front and one behind you. You get that infinity complex. Okay. So what you should be looking at is a Linux server and a client machine. The client machine is our innocent victim, and this is the evil hacker box. And what the first thing I want to do in my evil hacker box is I just want to check my IP addresses, okay? To make sure that nothing's happened since I tested this at lunchtime. And I want to make sure that this computer, I'll highlight it on the screen, is 200.10. What I'm going to do from scratch is I'm going to build that entire farming attack and run it right now. This is Backtrack. Backtrack, also known as Kylie Linux, is a hacker's disto. It's the hacker's version of Linux. And in the start menu, which in Linux is in the top left-hand corner, not the bottom left-hand corner, we get a whole load of hacking tools. Dozens and dozens and dozens of different hacking tools. And one of those tools is social engineering. And one of the social engineering tools is something called the social engineering toolkit. I'm going to pick it. And we're going to run from scratch a social engineering attack. And we're going to use a number 2. Look at some of these options. I particularly like option 9. Creates a QR code that if you point your phone at your camera, your camera on your phone at it, if it's Android, it compromises your phone. These are all social engineering attack. The social engineering attack we talked about, that we explained, is a website farming attack. So I'm going to choose number 2. I'm going to choose a number 2 again. I'm going to use Metasploit browser exploits. Now, I really should do a site clone. A site clone would guarantee me an identical topic, an identical website to the current version of Gmail. I haven't got time to do it, so I'm going to use a template. But if I picked option 2, it will be an identical copy to whatever Google looks like today. I've got to type in my IP address so that when the computers I hack want to connect, they know who to connect to. And we're going to do Gmail, didn't we say? And we're going to do a 29 with a number 1 over 443. So this takes a few minutes to load. What we're actually doing is building a website that looks like Gmail, and we're building a database that are going to contain attacks for IE6, IE7, IE8, IE9, Edge, Firefox, Mozilla, even BlackBerry browser. So all of these things that are flashing up on the screen are exploits, attacks for browsers. And these are not just individual attacks, these are attacks for whole categories of browsers. We're going to end up with 25 different browsers that we can attack. It's all set up, ready to go. This is hacking by numbers. So let's go and see what happens, Dave. You see, if I go to Dave's machine, you'll notice that if Dave actually tries to ping google.co.uk, he actually gets the wrong IP address. This is proven the poisoning works. Where do you see? All that happens, Dave goes to the coffee shop with a hacker sitting in it. Dave goes into his browser and types in www.gmail.com and hits enter. And, oh, sorry, I didn't poison gmail.com. I poisoned gmail.co.uk. I apologize, because when we hit it, it should open Gmail. Now, demos are great things, aren't they? Let's see what's happened. This one's still sitting waiting. This one's trying to open Gmail. Let's just go and try the ping again, because if the ping worked, this should work. I love demos. Don't you love live demos? World Wide Web Gmail.co. Oh, right. Guess what? That was working a few short seconds ago. Now it's not working at all. Was it gmail.co.uk or .com we attacked? Neither the two of them's working now. Don't you love this? I just did that demo a few short seconds ago. I normally know what the problem is. Because these are VMware systems, guess what? No. I was going to tell you my IP address had changed, but my IP address has not changed. Let me just see. There's something wrong. Something funny's going on in here. Let me ping the IP address. This worked a few seconds ago. You've seen me doing it, 200.10, and I should get replies. So why has Gmail stopped working? Ping gmail.co.uk. Let's try that for a few seconds. Now, we did see a few seconds ago it was actually working, but for some reason that has stopped working in the last few seconds. I need to wait till it times out, because I need to say, if it says to me, can you see this? It's not giving me an IP address. Was it gmail.com or gmail.co.uk? Worldwideweb.gmail. Okay, and that one's giving error messages. Now, don't you love this one? You see, what should happen is they should connect to gmail.com. It was working when we come into this system. I'm just trying to work out why it's not working now. So give me a few seconds. That's not coming up either. That's bizarre. Let me just jump in. I'm going to cheat for a little second. I'm going to go and create a temporary DNS poisoning. And I'm going to cheat because I'm going to go in and use my backup method of doing it. Okay, it sort of dilutes the demo a little bit. But what I'm going to check is what the host file says. And we've got, oh, look, can you see what happened? This is my typo. When I set the server up somewhere, I created Gmail, Google instead of Gmail. My apologies. You're probably shouting down the microphone at me at the minute that when you joined the system, it wasn't Gmail, it was Google. That was my fault setting the server up. Somewhere I typed in Google and not Gmail. Let me see if this is going to work this time. It won't work on gmail.com. It will work on gmail.co.uk. So let me just hit refresh. Let's just see if this works. worldwideweb.gmail.co.uk. Hit enter. Yes. No, you can stop applauding. Okay. Okay. Never work with children, animals, or live computer demos. There's our Gmail page. Okay. If I go now to the client machine, okay, the hacker's machine, my apologies. If I go and look, can you see what's happening on the hacker's box? We've started a browser auto pawn handling. So what we're now doing is automatically, we're trying to work out what the victim is running as a browser. We're trying to fingerprint the browser. You'll notice that it's not Firefox. So we're going to rule browsers out. When we work out what browser you're wearing, here we go. We're going to go, there's 15 potential exploits. So we're now going to take exploits, 15 possible exploits, compile them into web code, and inject them into the web page. So if you look very carefully, somewhere it'll say this. That's the payload being uploaded to the victim's machine, and that tells me that machine's been hacked. We've hacked the machine. The client machine has been hacked. Let me show you. Here's all the people that I hacked today in Starbucks. And you can see there's one computer. And I can now interact with the first person I hacked. Here's a question for my internet audience. What command do I type in Linux to find an IP address? I type in ifconfig. What command do I type in Windows to find an IP address? I type in ipconfig. This is a Linux machine. What command do I type in here? IF, I hear you all shouting. But this is now connected to the computer we hacked. And the computer we hacked was Windows. My computer, this computer is 200.10. This is not my computer. This is the victim's computer. I have got a payload running on the client simply because they typed in worldwideweb.gmail.co.uk. I have complete control over that system. If I want your passwords, I just hash dump them. This is the LMNTLM hashes of the administrator password. There's the domain admin account sitting here, indicated by 500. And this is the LM hash. That's something that we can crack. We can get the domain admin's password. I have got dozens of tools that I can now use them. There's the hash dump. I can go and turn your video camera on and take photographs of you. Turn a keyboard logger and look at what you're typing. I can turn your microphone on. I can steal files. I have got all these commands that I can run on your remote computer, including what's called the courtesy shell. There you go. Is that a good upgrade for Linux? A Windows command line in Linux. mkdir, make a folder, 1636 on the 27th of November. That's going to create a folder. Oh, it's got a colon in it, not allowed to call. Oh, sorry, not allowed to call mkdir. I'll just make a simple one. Sean was here 1636. So if I go to the computer, I own your computer. I have remote access to it. I can turn the video camera on. I can spy on what you type. I can turn the microphone on, record what you're saying. I have access to your passwords, your file system. That is not your computer anymore. It's my computer. Give me a when I turn back the file sharing to our PowerPoint slide deck, I hope. You'll have to apologize, it's not giving me the option to turn it back to the PowerPoints to the slide deck. Okay, give me a few seconds to see, can I sort this out? It's not allowing me to go back to the PowerPoints. Okay, fair enough. I'll have to do a full screen share. Hopefully lets me do that. It's not ideal, but you should be able to see my slides. I hope you can see my slides. Let me just check the file to make sure. Yeah, we should be able to see what I'm doing now. Is that okay? Demo should be back on. So, a few seconds ago, you all virtually told me you'd no questions about farming because I explained it. Then, after I explained it, we did a demo. Any questions this time? I've got a question for you. Why did you not fully understand it the first time? You see, it's all about Dave. We're trying to re-educate Dave. We're trying to reduce the number of Daves, because Dave can defeat all our technical controls. There are simply too many Daves. Our technical controls will never be strong enough. What we need is fewer Daves. We have an epidemic of Daves in our organization. And whether you like it or not, there is no box with blue LED flashing lights. There is no box with blue LED flashing lights that's going to fix Dave. You see, our job is to balance risk and controls, to make sure risk and controls are equal. Our job is to make sure there are controls in place for our risks. Dave is a risk. What you're trying to do with end user awareness training is change Dave's behavior, and that's not easy. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to use free Wi-Fi in a coffee shop again? Even if you use HTTPS, because that's what Dave did wrong. Dave didn't type in https://www.gmail.co.uk. But how many of us do? Even if you type that in, I can fake certificates. I can use the aptly named tool fakecert.exe. I can fake a certificate, but I cannot fake trust. So even if I did a fake certificate, you'll always get an error message saying, certificate not trusted. So the question is, will you think twice when you use a free Wi-Fi in a hotel or a coffee shop? The answer for the business, the technical control against this, is VPNs. If I deployed a VPN when I'm in a coffee shop, my network traffic goes back to the office and I end up using the office's safe and secure DNS server. So if I am independent, if I've got a personal phone, I really need a VPN service. And there's people that sell VPN services for phones. You see, what this story is about, change is a 3-step process. And the first part of change is to experience what we're talking about. You've got to experience the impact of it. Then you understand it, you explain it. And only if somebody experiences and understands it will they actually change. Experience, understand, and change. What's your end user awareness security training course like? Is it people standing up on a pulpit, preaching, lecturing people, telling people, thou shalt not do farming? Or is it experiential? Are you doing these demos during your end user awareness training? Those slide deck, the middle set of slide deck, the farming attack, that's actually from end user awareness training we were running for the Irish Stock Exchange quite recently. Because that's what your end user awareness training should feel like. It should be experiential, it should be interesting, it should be demo based. You've spent time and money on hardware, you've spent time and money on software. Isn't it about time you did the same to wetware? The education, or should I say the re-education of Dave. What do you need in the office? Well, there's no one thing that's going to work. What you need is strong policies, standards, guidelines, and procedures. But you also need interactive demonstration-based training so that people can experience and understand and change. And then you're still not finished. You need to reinforce it. You need to test the users. You need to fish and farm your own users. And if anybody falls victim to phishing and farming, you retrain them and you reprove and you repeat. You see, policies and procedures are good. You must have them. But the Daves in this world ignore them. And the same way as there's 3 steps to Dave, there's 3 things that I really believe that you must be doing in your network today. And that's having strong policy, standards, guidelines, and procedures, interactive demo-based training, and then you need to reinforce this by actually doing these attacks on your users. You see, what we're trying to do is to balance risk and controls. People tend to put too many technical controls in place. Technical people tend to put too much faith in technology. Dave is not technology. Our job is to make sure risk and controls are balanced, and that includes the risk and controls for the wetware as well as the hardware and the software. We're only a few slides away from close. I don't think there's been any marketing or sales pitches yet. Don't turn off. There's only a few slides. Look, what I'd like to do is to introduce ourselves. We're Nemstar. We're a specialist information security and cyber training business. We've been established for over 10 years, and we have served customers around Europe, America, and the Middle East. We're delighted to have a training partnership with SureSkills to bring our global industry-leading courses back to Belfast. Okay, 25 years experience. We are got world-class trainers delivering the best information security training. You know why? Because we're specialists. We're not a generic training organization. We don't train Word or Windows. We don't train programming or Cisco. We are a cyber training specialist. And over the 25 years that we've been running, we have helped some of the world's largest and most at-risk companies secure their systems, secure their servers, and learn. And we at Nemstar, with Sure Skills help and support, provide a range of training options in this space. This course, this little session, has taken items from DNS poisoning and farming attack. We cover the theory and labs from CEH V10, Certified Ethical Hacking V10. We've one of those running in January in Belfast. The PSGP and the awareness training, that's from CISM, Certified Information Security Manager. The whole idea of risk controls and countermeasures, that comes from our CISSP course. We're actually running one of those in Belfast this week as we speak. IDS's firewalls and seams, they come from our SOC analyst course. We're specialists. We offer a range of cyber certifications and training programs to try to help you deal with the risks out here. We do everything. These are our top 5. We do the CIS, the Certified Ethical Hacking. The CISM is for managers. We've got the CISMP. That's specifically targeted at the public sector and is part of the approved national pathways for career development for the public sector. And we also have our SOC analysts for those people who want to set up a security operations centers or work in a SOC. We have a specialized certification and training program for that. And these are only the top 5 certifications. As a specialist training provider, we provide a wide range of offerings. And as I say, we're delighted to partner with Sure Skills right here in Belfast to bring that global expertise back to the local market. We're not generalists. We are specialist experts in the field of information security and cyber training. My name is Sean Hanna. I'm the director and founder of Nemstar. We founded it in 2009. This is our 10th year. Our 10th birthday celebrations are coming up quite shortly in Belfast. If you have any questions, there's my email address. Make use of it. If you have any course queries, you can go straight back to Sure Skills. And I'd love to see a LinkedIn invite from you. Just search for the name or the email address and the logo for Nemstar. Folks, I did say there'd only be a few sets of marketing slides towards the very end. We are still going to do a QA for anybody that has any questions and answers for this one. So at this stage, I would look for my partners in Sure Skills to come back in again. I'm going to turn off my screen sharing for the time being. And what we will do is open up both the chat window and anybody who wants to turn their microphone on and take or make any questions. So you can use the chat screen down the left-hand side. Okay, I just realized there's a couple error messages on the wrong screen being displayed. I do apologize about that. It's just the delay in the webinar platform when we jump through different computers quickly. Sometimes those screens do freeze, so I do apologize if you didn't see the whole lot. Any comments or questions on this one before I round off the webinar this evening? If we do have any questions, don't forget that Sure Skills can deal with any questions on the upcoming courses or the syllabus. And if you have any more specific questions, you can send them to myself and I'd be delighted to hear from you as well. But
just to add to that quickly, Sean, there's gonna be a point drive put together with the slides and information on dates that we're going to send out to all attendees. So that should be with everyone early next week.
Thank you very much indeed. So there you go. You're going to get a copy of the slides and a list of the upcoming dates and courses that we're running in Belfast with Sure Skills. Folks, we're always here to help both ourselves and Nemstars and as Sure Skills. The cyber market is saturated with training. We would like to consider ourselves professionals in the area. So the one thing you will always get from us is an honest answer. So if you need any advice or pointers, please, we're always here to deal with it. Are we good to close? I think we are. Folks, thank you very much for your attention tonight, and I'll sign off now.